Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for a very special webinar. We're going to be talking about maximizing conversions on Walmart and Amazon product pages. My name is Liz Fickenscher. I'm the e-commerce marketing manager here at Teikametrics. I am just here to introduce Jason Magee. Jason, you want to say hi?
I can. How's everybody doing today?
We still have some people coming in, so let's take care of a couple of housekeeping things before we introduce our special guests. This session is being recorded. It will be emailed to everyone who registered for the webinar, along with any relevant information. You are free to ask questions throughout the webinar. We will answer them as it makes sense. We definitely want this to be interactive, so there's a questions section in GoToWebinar in your panel. Just submit your question there, and I will interrupt these folks with it as we go along. So we're gonna probably run about an hour today, and there's still a lot of people logging in. So I think we should probably wait. But Jason, if you want to switch to the intro slide, we can start thinking about
and
people.
It would be good to do a quick sound check. I saw Kaz had said, hello, thanks for having me. Thanks for coming, Kaz. If anybody else can just type in, make sure they can hear us okay. I just want to make sure that we're coming through good on the audio here.
Thanks, guys.
Interactive bunch here. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That may be the quickest and most responses from a question. Besides that trivia we did, we got by design, we got a lot. Perfect. So yeah, it looks like we have more folks rolling in here. Katy, Jeff, how you guys doing?
Great, Jason. How are you?
Good, good, good. We'll make sure we have a proper intro here in a minute.
Great.
For those of you just joining us, we are recording this session, so don't worry. We're going to be covering a lot of information, so you're going to want to catch that replay.
This is my first, actually second rendition with my my speaker podcast mic. So everybody saying they can hear us loud and clear makes me very happy. It's a worthwhile investment.
What brand did you go with?
Toner. Tonor. It was like Amazon's choice. You know, you got to go to Amazon if you're in this space. So it's funny how much we trust other people's reviews that we've never met. So it was a well-oiled machine, I guess, setting it up and everything. So awesome.
Well, it looks like we've got people in their seats. So everybody, welcome again. It's so nice to have you here. We've got Jason Magee, our Senior Director of Sales at Teikametrics, Katy DeLeon, the go-to-market strategy at Snap36, and Jeff Hunt, who's the co-founder and CEO of Snap36. Everybody say hi and introduce yourselves.
Hello,
Jason?
Katy. Hey, Katy, do you want to go first and introduce yourself? I know we'll talk a little bit about the company, but it'd be good to put a voice to the face here.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone. My name is Katy. I've been with Snap36 for a couple of years, responsible for marketing, customer success, and partnership initiatives. And we've had the privilege of working with Jason and team now for a few months. And collaborating closely on how we bring these best practices to market and educate folks on how they can leverage this partnership. So very excited to be here today. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you. And Jeff, if you want to say a couple words.
Sure. Thanks, Jason. I'm Jeff Hunt, founder, CEO of Snap36. Found the company, 12 years ago. Came over here full time in 12 and 13 after illustrious years at places like Adobe and other startups through my old man career. So excited to be talking about visualization and user experience and how it can help drive conversion. So thanks for having us.
Congrats are in order for Katy and Jeff and team on the acquisition of Snap36 as well. Congrats to you all. That's amazing to hear.
Great. Thanks, Jason. Nothing more fun than selling a company in a pandemic. So, you know, it's on my resume now.
I would also argue nothing more fun than being in e-commerce during a pandemic as well. Speaking of that, we're certainly going to cover some of that. So I'll go through the agenda very quickly. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to boil it down to 4 main themes here. How e-commerce has changed in 2020 and into 2021. Definitely a good time to revisit best practices for listing optimization. This isn't going to bore you. We're going to make this interactive, and note a lot has changed even in just a few months. Really important. I want to focus a ton on why images and the style of images that you have matter so darn much in this world. And lastly, advertising strategies once you have a solid optimized listing. The goal here is to have you all leave with something of value beyond just thinking Snap 36 and Teika are great companies. I can speak for Snap that they are, but goal here is you can take a lot of this info and do with it as you please. And obviously, if you want to talk to us more, that's great. Without further ado, let me just give you a little bit of background about Teikametrics. We are a SaaS company, a technology platform that also leverages the power of hands-on keyboard management through expert analysts. We're helping thousands of brands profitably grow their sales and scale their businesses on Walmart and Amazon today. Here's a quick little overview of some of the brands that we work with. If anybody does care about numbers, we drive over $7 billion of sales on Amazon and Walmart, manage over $450 million of ad spend annually. So that's a little bit about Teika. And over to the Snap team. Which one of you all want to take this one?
How about the old guy who forgot to take the mute off? And
oh, there we go. There we go.
You know,
has to happen once.
Not using no fancy podcast microphone. This is my Black Friday AirPod Pros from Walmart. So
there you go.
Anyway, Snap 36. We talk about providing affordable, quality, interactive 360 images. You know, my background was in user experience, and the world is not flat, and so it's amazing how we've grown to support both B2B and B2C companies building user experiences that help convert and reduce returns and such. So we work with many top brands, and obviously with Walmart, Amazon, that we'll talk about a little bit today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw some questions coming in. Yes, there will be recording Q&A. Corey will have that at, not only at the end, but throughout. So feel free to start, chopping away and asking questions, and we'll make sure that we interject when we can. So number one thing, let's talk about the topic on everybody's mind, COVID and e-commerce. There's our rendition of what the virus might look like. So Jeff and Katy, I think something that's really interesting is we've seen the adoption of e-commerce accelerate about 5 years. What that means is Amazon, Walmart, e-commerce in general, as a percentage of US retail sales, has always been growing steadily, but that's been just completely fast-tracked because of COVID. I'd love to get your thoughts on that and how you all have seen that. And honestly, if anything, this is the glass half full in me, e-commerce it's really had to, put a good spotlight on imagery and what Snap 36 can do as well. What do you guys think about that?
I'll jump first, and I'll let Katy jump in with some of her color commentary. But you're absolutely right, Jason. And never before has it been even more important for you to have high quality and interactive imagery on your websites and on your distributor and e-commerce sites. Essentially what this done, and for years we've talked about, we're trying to recreate or mimic the in-store experience. Well, that was complementary when the stores were open. Now it was essential. And so by closing physical stores, it's even more important now because nobody is engaging a salesperson anymore. So your imagery is your products or are your products, and they have to speak for you, your brand, right out of the gate. Katy?
Yeah, I would just add that, in the past few months, we've just seen a tremendous increase of shoppers placing online orders. they expect more to order more online in the future. That's not going away. And, you know, the number of images and high quality content and things like reviews are just becoming more and more important for all of those experiences online.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think the pundits in the space are actually saying that we expect a lot of this to stay, and I think the main reason is convenience is going to win. Obviously, you're going to see people go back in stores, but there's nothing like being able to have something delivered to your house, and especially if you can feel like you can interact with it. The other thing too is we've seen this a lot with marketplaces, especially places like Walmart that have both the online and in-store aspect. Now, it's no secret that mobile's been huge, but you also have to think about if I was going to pick up like an item, let's like have something sent to my house. Well, if I'm not going to physically go in a store, we see a lot of people actually spend time on their computers and sit there for 45 minutes as if they're walking through the aisles of a store. So you have to really focus on how are you showing up on desktop versus mobile. And if you want to see some stats with it too, this is even back in March, where we did a study on the top 15 and bottom 15 retail categories online. The top 15 saw a 333% growth in their revenue and performance. So it's like the tale of two cities, the haves and have-nots. You see the bottom 15 categories got crushed 57%. Now, when you look at this, the top categories, you have to start to strip away like, oh, I've seen 50% growth. We're doing great. Well, are you keeping up with the actual demand and trends in the market? If you strip away COVID, are you truly gaining market share or are you just riding the coattails? Or if you're growing 10%, you think that's good, but the market's growing 300%, you're actually losing market share. And then on the bottom half, how are you adapting different strategies and just trying to maintain maintain presence until we get to a sense of normalcy. A lot of this happened to do with logistics, right? Where Amazon put a big hurt on what you could ship in and had to be essential items. Now we're seeing that start come back towards a state of being more normal, but it's just something to think about. Now, going to the second topic, best practices for listing on a listing optimization on marketplaces in general. Let's focus on Amazon first. So I'm going to go through the usuals here, but I'm also going to make this interactive, and we're going to actually take a look at a very good listing and one that's not done so well. So title, I think the most important thing here is of all the characters that you can use in a title, the first half, roughly 150 characters, that's what matters the most. Now, nobody really knows Amazon's algorithm, obviously, but what we've seen study after study is the first half, the keywords that are in the first half of the listing are actually indexed quite better. Not to mention, Jeff, Katy, we were talking about this before, but before when we were planning for this, but on mobile, you only see half of the title anyways. So really important for that. Thing two, I can't see a sea of hand raises, but how many folks are doing all caps in their bullets for the first line? That's out. I would recommend stop doing that. Amazon's come out and made sure that they don't want to see that going forward. Description contains all relevant information, keywords. Look, when you think about optimizing a listing for Amazon or Walmart, it is an art and a science. The sciences are the keywords there. Are you using your description, your bullets, your A+ content, your images? That's the science of it. But then the art is, how do I make sure that I have the right keywords, but it still looks aesthetically pleasing for consumers and buyers and doesn't just look like it's stuffed with keywords? So I think this is a good time. Let's actually jump into what an example of a listing here. Let's look at Folgers. I'm really curious, Jeff and Katy, what do you guys think when you see images like this or just a kind of a bland listing like this? What comes to mind?
My perspective, it's pretty standard. It's just not thinking about your product as something that you're marketing, but looking at it as, you know, these images were just necessary. Let's do the minimum possible. Katie, thoughts? One other thought is that they're wasting thumbnail space on the pretty much the same images and running through it. It's not giving you a complete feel for the product, nor is it doing anything emotional to grab me. So
Right.
that's my own personal thought.
I'd add in on that in terms of just leveraging the real estate and the carousel, which affords you the opportunity to show off more sort of feature function even within the carousel, which seems to be a little bit of missed opportunity. They're definitely high quality images. They look sharp.
How about you, Jason?
It might help if I'm not muted. How's that?
It's much better. I was hoping it was your mute button.
It was, but basically, I think one of the points that we're going to make too, like look how many images they're using up just to show you the side, the front, the back. The other thing too is like terrible bullets, very small title, not really engaging. Enhanced brand content is very, very weak. Let's actually look at a different example in how these ankle biter brands can actually, somebody like Chimera Coffee, coming after the Folgers of the world. Folgers are going to get their sales because it's Folgers. But look at this. Look at their listing: organic ground coffee infused with essential brain vitamins. Look at these fully baked bullets here. Jeff, to your point, look at these bougie images or lifestyle images. Like, that makes me want to drink that coffee. Did you not get that feeling when you were looking at the Folgers one?
No, it didn't inspire me at all.
Yeah, so like the ability to use graphic overlays, like subtle yet complex taste. You should be able to make a buying decision based off the images alone without reading anything else, even having a video here as well. The other thing I will mention, if you scroll down, look at this enhanced brand content. Tell me that's not a lot better. Premium ground coffee, powerfully infused with cognitive enhancers. Like, that speaks to me. That actually makes me have more of an experience with that brand, even on Amazon. That's stuff that we all need to be doing today. Anything you guys want to add there?
I'm feeling like I need to be cognitively enhanced at this moment. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely.
I need to boost my energy levels and brain function so I could have better memory and focus better. But
exactly.
It resonates, and those are keywords that you can look up by the time you get to this listing. If you weren't looking at those keywords, those are just added reasons for you to buy a product. So the takeaway here is, when we go back to, I actually think I may have gotten out of it, so let me hop back in. When we do go back to the slides here, that's just really important that you just take that into consideration. So let's quickly go through before we get to the meat of this on the imagery, and let's actually go into Walmart. So looking at Walmart here, I'm actually going to use a slide that Walmart Marketplace used with us. A lot of the rules still apply: images, enhanced brand content, etc. Walmart looks at this like a triangle. So in the center, the way you put this triangle together is content, product category, titles, descriptions, images, attributes. How descriptive is it? Both from the scientific perspective of gaining attraction in Walmart's algorithm, but how are you actually conveying that to the customer? Offer quality, Walmart, low prices guaranteed. You need to have a very competitive offer, and that can obviously help your organic rankings as well. And then lastly, performance. Same thing with Amazon with their IPI score. They're going to look at your order defect rate. Are you shipping products on time? What's your return rate? Are you having a good customer experience? It's important to know this because no matter what you do, you could add great 360-degree images. You could advertise this very well, but if you are not doing the basics right, none of this other stuff matters. So that said,
let's go to images. And they are important, but how and why? So, yeah, Jeff, over to you.
Thanks, Jason. You know, I get into this every time I present, and it's a lot of times people are like, well, yeah, images, duh. But what we're forgetting, and kind of back to the Folgers thing, obviously, you know, Smuckers knows that that's a great big brand, and they're doing the minimal amount of creating an audience and creating emotion. And, you know, if you're standing still, you're losing, right? And so I look at those things and I'm like, as Katie said earlier, missed opportunity. And so if you start looking at the reports out there, which are all so interesting, and this first one, Forrester, the 60% of buyers prefer not to interact with the sales rep as a primary source of information. What does that mean? That means that there's 60% of the people out there who are relying on their experience to do the selling to them. That means there's 60% of the people out there who are looking at your products, who are looking at your page, who are engaging in it, and you better give them a reason to stick around and better give them a reason to be educated on that page, because if not, they're going to go away. They're not engaging anyone else and they have to stick around. Again, 45% of online shoppers said there are not enough images provided. We are a visual being. I mean, look at the explosion online. Think of Zoom, think of the whole pandemic, think of Netflix. We like to be entertained. We like things that move. We don't like boring things. Boring things make us go do something else. And that's what happens with your products. If people get bored with your products, they go find that product on a different site or a different product that engages with them. You have to remember that you're marketing through an experience. And then 75% of consumers listed quality of product images. You know, we run into places where they're like, oh, I've got 8 images up. And I'm like, you put 8 crummy images up. It's actually worse than having 1 or 2 great images. So you really need to think through what you're trying to convey, what your storytelling is about your product, and how to convey that visually.
Yeah, I'll just touch on that too. Jermaine had a good question or thought, which is these large brands, it seems as if they don't put any effort into it. They just expect to sell. And you're exactly right, Jermaine. Like that's exactly what happens. They are overconfident, or they can be lazy. And like that's why at Teikametrics, a lot of the big clients that have come and worked with us is because these smaller ankle biter brands have been eating their lunch and stealing market share because they're doing stuff like this. And then one other thing, Sarah, about enhanced brand content, like Jeff, Katie, I'd love your thoughts on this, but when you have enhanced brand content, it shouldn't necessarily look just like your carousel. I see that more as an opportunity to actually tell your brand story beyond just the carousel images. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. There's huge opportunity to take almost 2 separate looks at your marketing, and that is, and especially your online marketing, and it's kind of the above the fold and below the fold. The above the fold has to excite people and ignite people. The below the fold can really then validate that they're making the right choice and really give them a deep understanding and confidence that will, lead to that purchase. So
Excite, ignite, validate. Those are, I love that. Excite, ignite, validate. I'm gonna have to use that.
I haven't quite patented or copyrighted it yet, Jason, so you're in luck.
Well, you heard it here first from Jeff, so you know what. Over to you.
Yeah, I'll pick things up here because here I am, talking about images and I'm not showing any images. So let's get to the fun stuff here. We'll keep going here. Next slide here. Okay. Did we miss one?
Yeah, this one, this is the second one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. This content advantage report was amazing. And this was specifically on Amazon. And when you look at, going from 5 to 10 images on a product increases conversion 48%. it's awesome. Again, we want to be educated, we want to be excited, ignited, and we like that. We like more information versus less. And so taking special interest to that is tantamount in your online merchandising. The top 10% of products Amazon sells enhanced content 33% of the time, as opposed to 3% among the poorest performing 10% of products. That's not coincidence, right? And again, I always go back to this. It's kind of the duh moment. Of course, a better experience is going to lead to higher conversions and people being engaged with your brand. It's amazing how few people get this and actually put effort into it. And then 55% of shoppers placed online order, and 58 expect more online in the future. You know, that seems low to me in these days, but you know, again, I shop online all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So just a little bit about us, but an interesting point. These are the top rich media partners to the top e-retailers. I mentioned earlier that Adobe was my my background and my heritage. That's where I got inspired that imagery and online experiences actually move the needle. And so when we built Snap 36, we really wanted to provide a quality product and experience. So again, the 360 product views, creating an experience where, you know, people can interact with the product and find their reason to buy is extremely important. The other interesting thing too on this slide is that Jason mentioned that we'd just been acquired by One World Sync. At the same time, practically overlaying, One World Sync also acquired a company called CNET Content Solutions. We might know CNET to be kind of the consumer electronics gurus on the planet. Well, they syndicate below the fold content to over 1,000 sites and thousands of brands. And so you, as I mentioned before, you've got an above the fold experience in the viewers on Amazon and Walmart, and you've got a below the fold validation and experience through the CNET solutions. So now we're both under one roof, and you can utilize a single type of content in both solutions. So it's gotten pretty interesting.
Yeah, and
So a lot of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I think, look, I love that, and it's about having the full experience, and it's about doing a lot of things right. And I think like even the CNET, I believe even Best Buy uses CNET as like how they display their bullets, or I know they used to. So it's very important that you have both above and below the fold taken care of.
Absolutely. You know, Best Buy is huge with the C. Amazon, Costco is one of their largest customers as well, and receivers. So yeah, very interesting. We're excited to be working with them. Good group of guys.
Awesome. Now to the fun images.
Yeah, so we like to show, you know, a lot of people get caught up between, you know, is this augmented reality, is it CGI? You know, what we do is we provide sort of I won't call it a poor man's 3D, but what we've done is we create a way to stitch together 24, 48, 72 images to create an experience of your product. The beauty of that is everything is very high res photography. So you're not looking at a computer generated texture or bag. You're looking at the actual product and can see the workmanship and such. Then a lot of people are like, well, I'm not ready for this yet. Well, that's great, but soon you are going to be ready. And so if you look at the next slide, what this spin is made up of are simply a bunch of static images that you can use anywhere in your organization, anywhere in your carousel, anywhere in your ads. You can create videos out of it and use them in your online ads. It gives you basically a portal, a plethora of content that you can now use in a zillion different ways. Use it on social, use it wherever you need it, use it in flyers if you're still doing flyers.
And we will be, I saw there's some questions coming in. Jillian, yes, you can do it on Amazon or Walmart. We're going to show you some live examples. And which categories you can do this for as well. So this isn't something far-fetched for those, hundreds and hundreds of you all on this.
Yeah.
This is really something you guys can be taking advantage of today.
Yep, absolutely. So the benefits, and I'll run through this again. I started a company. I think it's obvious, but for a lot of people, they're not so sure at this point, and there are a lot of misnomers out there. So this is more of a myth buster slide. So with these spins, essentially you retain the ownership. There's no licensing. There's no restrictions on how, where, what you can use them. You can use them anywhere. Knock yourself out. The interesting thing, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, so I won't steal the thunder, but there are strategies that allow this to not only create a great experience, but also to free up real estate on your carousel so that you can expand the experience outside of 360. And we'll show that live. Mobile experience, again, people don't even look at bullets anymore when you're in mobile experience. Everybody wants visual experience and to have an easy way to buy. So we'll talk a little bit about that too.
Yeah, and when you're mobile too, you don't even see, a lot of times you don't even see any of the content. It's just the images first.
Exactly. And we talk about proven to be the most influential data point. This actually comes from Granger, more in a B2B world, but actually in the MRO world. They test and analyze all of their rich media separately. So videos, PDFs, tech docs, alt views, 360s, and 360 continuously, and they've been a customer for 7 years, continuously outperforms the other ones. It's just amazing what a 3D 360 model does to the human brain and how it inspires people to purchase. And then gives customers confidence, right? That's what I was just leading right in there, and then works seamlessly on all devices. Basically the viewers, and we'll talk about that in a minute, it's HTML5 and some JavaScript and some commercial-based viewers out there from places like Adobe and such. They're becoming ubiquitous, and that's where we're trying to get to. So you can see, so I will turn it over to Katy here, and you guys can have all the visual fun now.
Thanks, Jeff. Right. So, Jason, we were talking about showing some live examples. This is one from Garmin. Jason, do you want to show the Garmin page live on Walmart.com?
Yeah. So here's an example, and it's actually the hero image here. So you can see 160 degree. Like, folks, here it is in action. So you can see it's on a Walmart listing. I mean, look how amazing that is when you can drag, rotate it, spin it any which way you want. I think one of the unsung heroes too, Katy and Jeff, we talked about this, is yes, you're going to get increased conversions, but if it's something that somebody wants to get a sense for the sizing or what it looks like or what the back looks like, you have a significant opportunity to reduce return rates as well, right?
Absolutely. And we've seen, significant statistics there. One of our customers, the Home Depot, actually did some analytics and measurement on the reduced product return rate, because what you see is what you get with a 360 image. And this set of even still images that Jeff was pointing out, this high-res photography, you can inspect certain details and zoom in and see those things specifically on mobile. But yeah, when something shows up on your doorstep and it's what you expected to buy and it's the same thing that you saw online, that consumer confidence just increases and reduces that rate of return.
And if you're doing this on mobile, that's the image that you're going to get, and the ability to turn, pinch, you can do all that as well. I mean, folks, if you're not using this, I mean, this is why I know I'm generally an excitable person. This is why I was excited about this, because this is something you actually can feel and touch in a way. It's amazing.
The other point on there, Jason, if I might jump in, is kind of go back to the Folgers thing and a little bit on the real estate here too. Notice the 360 button is below. It's in dead space on most sites. So it frees up additional carousel space for that. And if you think back to Folgers,
Yeah,
they took up six or yeah, they took up 6 or 8 thumbnails.
2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 of their images that could have been condensed into one. So now you can put lifestyle imagery, you can put graphical overlays, and give them a 360-degree view of the product. Like, that is super powerful stuff.
Exactly. So just a note on Walmart, you know, we, Snap 36, help them create this viewer above the fold. You know, we understand the specifications. So as you're thinking about creating this type of experience and imagery, you know, we understand how to do that and how to create the images to meet their specs. And they have made this capability available for all categories, which is slightly different than Amazon. So the beauty of it is there aren't restrictions for brands who are looking to create this type of experience.
Yeah, and we're gonna go. This side also talks about what you can do on Amazon, but we're gonna have a side by side between Amazon and Walmart as well. But
Right.
yeah, if you want to talk through some of the differences here, we don't necessarily have to read every category off, but anything worth mentioning?
No, just to mention that we have a unique relationship with Amazon to get 360 images uploaded and published in a very short period of time. This is available to 1P and 3P sellers. That used to not be the case, but that has changed. So definitely want to call that out. And there's currently, you know, almost 20 categories that accept this type of imagery. It used to be, again, probably 5 or 6 a couple years ago, and we've worked category by category to expand that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some good questions coming about like how you can turn this into a video and where you can use it. We'll get to that, I promise, as well. Yeah, and Katie, I loved this example when you showed me this one. We can hop into this whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let's pull up the basketball hoop.
Yeah.
On Amazon. Yeah, so as you
go ahead, sorry.
go ahead. No, I just wanted to, again, this is a great point to reinforce. Really, the most important in the product page is the image carousel. And this 360 ensures your listing has high quality images where customers can see these product angles right away, right when they get to that page. So again, just to reinforce, typically folks are using 6 of these carousel images to show all different sides of a product, front, back, left, right, top, bottom, and your carousel real estate is gone. So if you were to use this 360 view to show the product details from every angle, it frees up that real estate, and you can use it to incorporate other images that are more descriptive, like lifestyle images or infographics.
Exactly what they do. Like you have like the actual lifestyle images, and then the 360, and then Jeff showed me this trick. But on these, you can actually see even more images, not just limited to the 6 or 7 you can have on Amazon. So you actually have even more real estate here to do that.
Exactly.
Right. And if I could jump in here real quick for a sec, if you go back to the 360, well, right here you see the mounting holes, and they've got kind of a graphic on where those are, but sometimes people just like to see them. And if you go back to the 360, it's not only experiential, it's functional, right? I now know, oh, there are 4 holes in the bottom, 2 in the top, and you get there. I mean, so again, building that confidence that, yep, I get it. This is exactly what I need. I think that this presentation is a slam dunk.
I see what you did there.
Bad dad joke.
Yeah, bad dad jokes, right?
Yeah, and this one, Katie, if you want to talk a little bit more about it before we actually show it in action, but this is where you start to get away from, okay, I can add the 360 images on the product display page, but this really opens up the world, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And this is a really amazing experience we uncovered on Amazon is just another compelling way to leverage this 360 spin experience in advertising. And this really helps brands stand out within these ad campaigns. You're showcasing every view and really the complete functionality of your product just within a few seconds that people spend on ads, right? So it's this using the spin experience within a video in an ad campaign, and it stretches your investment even further. You don't have to spend extra dollars creating more assets. It allows you to really maximize the investment you're already making in that 360-degree spin into your advertising. So Hellenox is a great example of working with us to create this really compelling motion ad experience that also has sound with it when you get to the page to use on their brand page and also in their ad campaigns on Amazon.
This is on their sponsor. This is actually on their brand page. Now, if you're running sponsor brand video, like you could use this there. There was a question about, can you use it on your website? Yeah, absolutely. But this is also how you can play with the service of a marketplace and be able to do that. Absolutely. I'm really high on this. I think it's just like a really good hack. And yeah, Katie, if you want to talk to a couple more examples, I mean, the list goes on.
Let me pipe in real. Go ahead. Go ahead, Katie. No, I was just going to mention too. I think there was a question about in ads, and we do have a sneaker company who started testing on different lines on different ads. And Katie, I think you were there. Can you jump in and tell that story?
Yeah, so the shoe company called StockX, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with in terms of if you're into sneakers, but they started to leverage this spin video ad capability in all of their social media efforts. So in Instagram and Facebook ads, etc. And again, using this type of experience and testing that, versus static images in those ads, they were seeing, like 5x click-through rates, just using this type of moving experience that isn't just purely static on all their social media channels. Yeah. So that was a great set of stats we heard from them.
Cool. And I know we're up against time a little bit, but I think a couple of things I did want to touch on. Yes, this is available for 1P and 3P on Amazon. We're going to get to this section, and it might be next slide or a couple more. But yeah, if you guys wanted to run through this real quick, just so we can leave some time for questions.
Yep. I'll try to get some time back here quick. This is all well and good. We're talking about, creating emotion in people. Well, the emotion is only good enough until the numbers come in. And so this is a study done on Amazon on Moen that compared static imagery before adding 360 conversion rates to average conversion rates after adding 360 on certain products, product A and product B. You're going to see different conversions on different products, but overall, what we see are people walking in our front door all the time going, you can't believe what this has done for our conversions. And we're having people come back saying this conveys such a quality brand experience that they equate the quality of the experience to actually the quality of the brand. So, as everybody on the planet is trying to chase a Nike or an Apple or whomever who created unbelievable brands, it's another way to excite your shoppers.
100%. In years, I love this. This #1 bestseller on Amazon, immediate lift of 4% in sales volume. and they recoup their investment in less than a week on this product. Like that
Yeah,
is.
this is just an interesting tidbit here, and I won't belabor it. These guys did this #1 bestseller on Amazon in a matter of under 60 days. And the fact of the matter is, they're competing with Cutter and they're competing with Off in the insect repellent world, who are major brands with major marketing dollars behind it. So again, kind of back to the coffee example of big brands rocking back on their haunches and not understanding this. These little guys are eating their lunch.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of them aren't so little anymore. 35,000 brands across the world on Amazon alone have eclipsed $1 million of revenue in a year. Great. Here are some examples of different planes you can have on. If you guys want to talk about any of these examples.
Yeah, I'll just brush through this real quickly. You know, we sit down, we talk to you about your products, and we try to work together with you to create what we believe are the key selling points, and then highlight those in a visual experience. So we're not just limited to 360 one time around. We're not just limited. We'll go up and over on things. We'll do animations, as you saw on the Helinox as well. We could do animations like the Spin FX on this Lysol, where we actually open it up, pull it out. But we also have introduced sort of hotspots in here where you're doing keyword call outs on the brand. And then you know, utilizing it across not only all devices, but all of your channels. So you're really only limited by your own imagination, your own creativity. You have all of this content at your fingertips.
Absolutely. I don't need to see the underside version of the dog, though. We can leave that one out. I'll run through this very quickly. And again, we'll be sharing this. Now available on 19 categories on Amazon. You can go look at the previous slide that walks through those. 360 images can be published by the Amazon customer experience team, or Snap 36 has an exclusive way to access these, to push them directly. Images take about 3 to 4 hours to go live. If you want to get started, you can go there. Walmart, it's for all categories other than grocery. It can be published through your CCP. That's One World Sync as an example. It can directly publish to Walmart, and they're looking to roll this out in self-serve according to Snap in February. So brushing over that very quickly. I'm going to spend about 5 minutes on my slides, and then we'll really get to it. Great. So let's talk about, we now finally have the foundation of an optimized listing and the enhanced content around 360-degree imagery that can be turned into video, etc. So really quickly, here are some key differences between Amazon and Walmart that's very important when it comes to advertising. We all know Amazon's a second price auction. Outside of the other things, if you just look at the price, I bid $5 for a dog toy, somebody bids $2. I win at $5, I pay $2.01. On Walmart, if you bid $5 and you win the auction, you're gonna pay $5. So you really need to make sure that you understand that it's a lot different. So with Amazon, conversion rates are the earliest indicator that an ad is working well. It's also the earliest indicator to know whether a 360-degree image is having an impact as well. So when you look at efficiency metrics like ACOS, they aren't immediately available. It can take 3 days plus to have a sale attributed from an advertisement. If you aren't not looking at conversion rates, you're not having a good pulse and responding to actual market trends. If you do pay attention to it, you can make decisions more quickly and more confidently scale and grow your business. Be careful and cognizant of the fact of the data set. If you have 5 clicks and you have a conversion rate of 75%, that's not enough data. Give yourself some more data. When you think about how you are leveraging advertising, you think about it from a brand, competitor, and generic search term perspective. My brand terms, it's important to bid on them, but if you overinvest in your brand terms, you will be cannibalizing organic sales. What you should do is great opportunity to highlight in a sponsored brands video as an example. But if you have a product that's maybe a version 2 and you have a version 3, conquest yourself with version 3 for anybody who's searching for version 2. or cross-sell complementary products to loyal customers as well. If you sold something that in like a color that was purchased for a wife that's pink, or a husband that's pink, whatever, sell a blue, sell a red, etc. That way you can defend your turf, but you're not over investing in that. For brands and products, use generic terms as well, because Amazon's going to put a lot of weight in how you're resonated for very high traffic search terms, or even longer tail search terms that have the base generic terms that convert well. But also, if you focus on generic and competitor terms, they are more incremental to your business as well, meaning that you're winning new customers that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise without advertising. So important considerations: know your conversion rate and how to weigh it. So let's say you had a 20% conversion rate over the last 30 days. It can be more valuable to even look at what's happened over the last 7 days. You need to determine recency. So the way our technology works from our bidder is we're looking at a last 60, a last 30, a last 7, a last day, and we're actually using that data to predict where your conversion rate will be over the next hour. This is unlike anything you all see if you're doing this manually or using a rules-based platform. We're actually able to leverage data and adjust bids if we need to every single hour based on that conversion rate. So just because you paid a certain cost per click over a period of time, it's not going to continue in perpetuity. And let me actually give you an example of this. Like, you should take your average order value times your conversion rate times your maximum allowable ACoS. But the challenge is you need to do this on every single keyword. And for every one product you have, there are 99 different keywords that can generate revenue for a particular keyword. The other challenge is 89% of those keywords don't have a statistically significant amount of data to understand what a good starting bid is. That's why you need technology. Going back to cost per click, revenue per click is going to fluctuate 18 times meaningfully over a given month. So again, you can do this manually. This isn't just about take other companies too, but if you're looking for somebody that's going to predict conversion rates, that's what we're talking about here. So let's shift gears really quick to talk about Walmart for 2 minutes, and we'll open it up for questions. Same thing, again, Walmart is the first price auction. You don't even know where the second highest bid is. You need to make sure that you're on top of this. Now that Walmart has search term reports available for automatic keywords, you can replicate the Amazon audit and manual strategy on Walmart. Second thing is Walmart search and grid placements. You used to only be able to serve up an advertisement on manual campaigns for slots 3, 5, 6, and 12. Then it went from anywhere between 1 to 12. Now it can be anywhere on page 1. So you need to constantly be understanding where you're ranking organically, because unlike Amazon, you can only show a product once on a page. So you need to reevaluate like this. I love this. You can see where your ads are showing up by device type on Walmart. So as an example here, I'm going to skip over the buy box. We know that if you don't win the buy box, you don't show up an ad, you're a tree falling down in the woods. On Walmart, you can see whether I showed an advertisement on desktop versus mobile app versus mobile browser. So now you can say, you know what? More folks are spending more time online and buying desktop more. Pivot. Adopt that and adapt and focus more on how you're showing up on desktop. The opposite can happen as well. Know before you place your bets. Where are you overspending or underspending? Audit your account, especially on how much you're spending on branded keywords versus competitor versus generic. There are best practices and how much money you should be spending on these types of keywords based on where your product is in its life cycle. Download your search term reports, because you know that search behavior is always going to change. Not to mention, you should be downloading your search term reports and then comparing those to your listings. If you're seeing that search terms are really flying and converting well on an automatic campaign, make sure it's in your listing, because you want to go back and say, you know what? This search term I didn't even think about isn't even in my listing. Let me add it to my listing as well. It's just an incredibly powerful thing for you to do. Can you support value-based bidding? I'm going to skip over that. Talk to me if you have any questions. But with that said, we have 6 minutes left. Let's get to some questions. Liz, do you want to throw some out to us?
You bet. So I think that one of the biggest questions that people are having is if we can go over again categories that are not allowed to use this type of image.
I didn't quite get that, but if Jeff and Katie, if that's something you guys can speak to, I think I missed a part of it.
So
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
On Amazon, there are 19, almost 20. If you want to go back to that page, I mean, we can follow up with it, and we have the listing. If you have questions about certain categories that you're interested in, we've been working. We think shoes is one that should be especially interested in this, including Zappos as well as Amazon. Katie, I don't know if you've got some thoughts.
No, I would say just reach out to us and we can confirm, but when everybody gets the recording and the presentation, obviously those categories are listed out. So we can always we're continuously trying to put pressure on the other category managers to get this capability launched. So the more we hear from you and we have customer feedback that this is important, we can help push that from our side as well.
Yeah, and by the time we do this again, I'm sure it'll change. I mean, they're going to keep pressing forward, not back, right? So even if it's not available for you right now in terms of a category, it can change.
so if your category isn't approved for this type of image yet, it might be soon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Another question for Katie and Jeff. What type of products have gained the most benefit from 360 images? I mean, based on the actual experience, what practice and insight say? So not theoretically what works the best, but who have you seen have the most benefit? Like what kind of category or what types of products? It's a question.
I can tell you it is not caught on yet in food, just because there are a lot of restrictions and rules around that, even though I think it would be great for it. Categories, I think sporting goods, outdoors, anything with interest around it, anything with plugs, appliances, small devices. I always think, what is it that you do when you see something like this in a store? Well, I pick it up and I turn it around and I look at the different things. Those categories tend to convert much better.
I would add anything in the DIY space, hardware. We work a ton with brands selling on Lowe's and Home Depot and a lot of those areas as well. And even going back to the Sawyer example, who would have thought a bottle of insect repellent spinning would make that huge of a difference? But sometimes, you just don't know. We have an example too with a company who had a sandpaper product, and ultimately that turned out to be a really amazing experience for them, for people to see like the width of the sandpaper in terms of how they could rotate it and really understand what it was they were purchasing.
This is I guess, potentially a hot take question, but let's play devil's advocate. Where is it not a good idea to maybe add 360-degree imagery? I mean, I'm trying to think of one, but is there any example you can show where maybe it's not good? I mean, they're going to get the product anyway, right?
Well, what's interesting about it is, yeah, it's in the we've done multiple pilots in the floral industry, when you bouquets of flowers and such, and what you realize is the photography on those is optimized for the front view. And so creating a bouquet that rotates around, you have to really show it all. A second one, it's not always great in soft goods, in apparel. It depends on the apparel type, but on figure can look a little cadaverous if you put a human being up there spinning, although it gets better. And the problem is that in a lot of that photography, you're pinning and clipping in order to make the garments form fitting. So
a good way to think
like,
of it is anything where like commercial S, where they show you like a cheeseburger, but you don't want to see what's pinned in the back.
Exactly.
Got it. That's a really good point. Probably have time for one more question, and we have these questions. Like, feel free to reach out to me directly. I know this is really about giving back to our followers and viewership, so I wanted to make sure we spent the most of the time on Snap. But yeah, any other questions, Liz, that you want to toss out as a last one to end on?
I don't think any of them are quick, but what we'll do is we'll share the questions list with Katy and Jeff so that if you want to email them, their email address is on this slide, info-snap36@oneworldsync.com. The team there is ready to answer any questions you have, and we'll also share this list of questions with them. So we do thank everybody for coming today. It was a super engaged audience. Thanks to Jeff and Katy. It was so great to have you. And we'll see you guys at the next one.
Thank you all. Take care.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.